Hello, everybody. Welcome to orientation. I'm going to give everyone a few moments to hop on in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I hope everyone's having a really wonderful day, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome. We'll get started here in about 1 minute and then give people a few more seconds to hop in.
And then Luna just gets played by Leo. It's so funny.
All right. It's 10:01, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So this is orientation for Breathwork Facilitator training. This is for, doesn't matter which date you picked, it's all going to be the same orientation. So let me share my screen with y'all. And actually, before I do that, make sure that the video settings are all correct. All righty. Trauma-informed Breathwork Facilitator training orientation. Today, we're going to cover what to expect going forward, what you need to be successful when it comes to materials, mindset, and mapping out the self-paced portion of this training. Then we're going to talk about navigating the online portal, asking for support, and any questions that you have. You're more than welcome to put your questions in the chat and I'll get to them at the end, or just write them down in your notebook and ask them at the end. What to expect. So tomorrow you will receive access to the core 4 modules. If you're watching the replay of this, once you are done with the orientation video, you will then receive access to the next video. The next video is space holding. Once you've completed that video, you'll have next steps, which will be like a homework assignment for you to do. And as you're implementing that homework assignment, you can move on to meditation part 1. The meditation part 1 video has a homework assignment that you need to complete before moving on to part 2, because what's going to happen is I'm going to teach you how to open a breathwork session with meditation. And then I want you to record yourself opening a breathwork session in a meditation, send it to me for feedback. I will send you feedback, and then you can move on to part 2 of the meditation module. Then once you finish part 2, you can move on to the trauma healing and release video. And then once you finish that, you can move on to the spiritual psychology video. And then, there's going to be homework assigned for all of these, right? There's next steps assigned for all of these, but it's for that meditation part 1 that you need to receive feedback, so that when you do meditation part 2 and you do that homework assignment, which you're recording another recording, but then you're doing it yourself, you're receiving the meditation yourself. I want you to have the feedback that I give you around the part 1 on the meditation before moving on to part 2. So that's the only one that's contingent on my feedback. Everything else is once you start doing the homework, once you are implementing the action steps, reflecting on the journal prompts, then you can move on to the next video. And they will unlock after you have clicked that you have completed that video within the portal. Work your way through the modules at your own pace. Start reading. So yeah, that'll be what can happen starting tomorrow. You can start working your way through the modules. Start reading or listening to the book, Loyalty to Your Soul. We will have a book club in January. All are welcome. If you've already done Breathwork Facilitator training, you're welcome to join that. If you aren't doing it until February, you're still welcome to join book club, because we're all working through Loyalty to Your Soul, as it is applicable to all aspects of the space holding healing experience for both yourself and for others. At the live workshop, we're going to cover a lot, including the anatomy of a breathwork session, breaking down how I integrate the music, with the flow of the session and when to speak, when not to speak, how to work, all of the tech associated with an online breathwork session. You'll also learn holding space for breathwork is, I think it's easier in person because you don't have to do all the tech stuff. So we're focusing mostly on the tech stuff, but I'll also talk about in-person experiences and a trauma-informed perspective on holding space in person. We'll also hold space for one another. That's one of the beautiful things about this style of session, this style of training, is that all of us have done breath work, or by the time that we show up to the facilitator training, you should have at least done one of my my donation-based community breathwork sessions. And we've all done breath work. So when you're holding space for someone, there's no pressure. They know what they're doing within the training, but you still get the practice of holding space. And then I'll pair y'all off after the live event, after the live workshop, to your homework will be to hold space for a new person on your own time as homework. After the live training, you'll receive access to bonus modules on how to package and sell your services, how to work through money blocks, money mindset issues, spiritual business best practices, basically how I run my entire business through channeling and connection to source and through manifestation, of course. And we'll also do the somatics of trauma release. So we'll talk about, oftentimes during breath work, your body wants to move, shake, tremor, bounce, sway, and we'll talk about activating that, trusting that, and how to use that when you're holding space and in your own practice as well. What you need to be successful. First and foremost, the mindset of the healer, the breathwork facilitator. If you're called to do this work, you're meant for this work. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Spirit guided you here. Spirit is working through you and wants to help the world heal through your talent, your gifts, your expertise. You don't need to have all the answers. You'll learn about this in the first module in space holding. It's not your job to have all of the answers. It's not your job to know everything. That's the beauty of breath work, is that you're literally here to hold a loving container for someone to work through their own healing journey. And in that, I have this agreement that I learned from my spiritual mentor called no make wrong. There have been so many times during breathwork that I've been receiving as the breather, and breathwork that I've been holding, that I've held space for, where something went wrong. The music wasn't loud enough. My voice, they couldn't hear my voice. The internet was shaky. All of these things happened, but the breathwork session was still transformational. The breathwork session was still healing, because as you'll learn, a lot of what space holding is for breathwork is what happens before the active breath even starts. You setting up the space so they know what to expect. They know what's happening. They know what might occur in the body. And once they know that, and you're holding that loving container, they can just do the rest by themselves. You don't even have to say anything throughout the entire session, right? So it just takes a lot of the pressure off and gives you a little bit more grace and fluidity in how you hold space, to remember that you can't mess it up and you can't do it wrong. And then, of course, dropping any of the I don't know or I already know this. So, or the I can't, right? I can't channel. I can't hear my intuition. I can't visualize. Any of those type of mindsets, we want to leave that at the door. I already know this. I've already guided a meditation. I've already held space. It's all of y'all in some way, shape, or form are already space holders. You're already coaches, healers, Reiki practitioners, whatever it is, you have done this in some way, shape, or form. So I know that, and this is a new perspective on space holding and healing. And so I just want you to come in with a beginner's mind, that you're here to learn something new. There's something within this training that Spirit wants you to receive. There's something within this training that you are meant to take away and apply within your business. So coming in with the beginner's mindset, it's okay that you don't know now, but opening up to, I'm open to receiving, I'm open to trying, I'm open to getting out of my comfort zone and into my stretch zone. So coming in with an open mind, an open heart, Seems pretty straightforward. Materials that you're going to need. You're going to need a computer. We ran into this with the last training, that you can't have like a tablet, you can't have a Chromebook, you need to have a laptop or an actual desktop computer in order to run the technology necessary to do the training and necessary to hold space. Some sort of audio recorder. You could use Zoom for that, which is lower down on the list. You can just use Zoom to record your audios, which is free for using it in that way. I use Audacity. If you have GarageBand or any other audio recording device, you'll need that to record the guided meditation. You could even use the audio recorder on your phone. I don't care, as long as you have some way to record your voice and then submit it as a guided meditation for feedback. Obviously, you'll need a journal to take notes on. You'll need a journal to take notes on. Obviously, there's going to be slides with notes, and you'll have lifetime access to those slides. You can always go back to them, but it's nice to, in your own handwriting, write down the things that resonate with you or that you want to remember. You will need to have an external microphone and headphones. So AirPods are fine. The Apple headphone mic wired combination, that's fine too. If you have a podcasting mic and headphones for that, that's great. But you can't facilitate a breathwork session through Zoom and have music if you're using the audio from your computer. It just doesn't work. I've tried it because I like to get up and dance during my breathwork sessions, and I don't want to be wired to my computer, but I just had to get AirPods so that I could be wireless and still move and still have the audio work properly. So, oh, sorry, I skipped Spotify. You need to have the paid version of Spotify. That's a requirement because you can't play. I guess you could have maybe like Amazon Music if you wanted to, but for the live workshop, I'm going to be sending you Spotify playlists to play for the other person that you're holding space for. So you need to have the paid version of Spotify in order to do that. We don't want to have ads. If you're a professional healer, space holder, coach, or whatever, and you're using music in the work that you do, you should already have a paid Spotify account. I one time went to a massage with someone who played Pandora, and it was not the paid version, and they were freaking ads during my massage. I was like, this is not okay. I will never come back here again. I despise ads. So no ads, paid version of Spotify. External mic and headphones. Zoom, I recommend you get the paid version, but you don't need it. The reason for that is the free version lets you, if it's just you and one private client and that's all you plan on doing, you don't need the paid version. But if you want to have a Zoom room with more than 3 people in it, then you're limited to 40 minutes on the free version. And there's no reason why a breathwork session should be less than 40 minutes. So if you want to do more than just one-on-one coaching, one-on-one breathwork, then you need to have the paid version of Zoom. You don't need it in order to participate in the live event, the live workshop, but I recommend that you have it as part of the software that you use regularly in your business. And then, of course, you'll need the book. You can do the audio book if you want to, Loyalty to Your Soul by Mary and Ron Holnick. They are the founders of the University of Santa Monica, which is a school that teaches spiritual psychology. Mapping. Okay, so I want you to grab your calendar, go get it. If it's in the other room, go grab it. If it's a physical calendar, grab it. If it's a digital calendar, pull it up. And have in mind, you're either going to be in the January session or the February session, right? So look at your calendar. And knowing that the holidays are coming up, I plan these dates accordingly, right? If you spend 1 to 2 hours a week on the pre-work, on the core 4 modules, then you will finish in about 4 weeks. So knowing that, put an hour on your calendar for 4 consecutive weeks, or maybe you need to take a break because of travel or holidays or whatever, but knowing your schedule, this is why I made this self-paced, because everyone's schedule is different, has different needs and different requirements. So on your schedule, block out an hour and a half to 1 to 2 hours each week where you are going to work on this material. Each of the videos I try to keep under 25 minutes. I don't think there's a single one that's over 21 minutes yet. So know that the videos are super short and easy to digest. And then there's some homework involved. Now, I already mentioned that you're going to need to record a meditation and send it to me for feedback. So if you know, wow, I have zero experience with any sort of recording of any sort of audio file ever, then maybe put a little bit more time on your calendar to figure out the tech. If you already know how to record something on Audacity or Zoom or whatever, because let me make a quick note about Zoom. If you have the free version or even the paid version of Zoom and you hop in, you click record and you record your voice, obviously it's going to record your video too. I mean, you could do video off, but it will record a video version and an audio version. And when you do record to your computer as the recording setting, when you close out the Zoom room, and automatically a box will pop up. It's going to be a Zoom folder where those files will download. So that's how you basically can access an audio file of what you recorded via Zoom. So super simple, but if you feel like you might have some trouble with that, put in a little bit more time on your calendar, create a map between now and the live workshop date where you can complete all of the assignments, because you have to complete all the assignments before the live workshop date. There's no exceptions. There's plenty of time between now and then. The meat of the program is going to be in the workshop. But all of this material will help to prepare you, prep your mind and your heart and your awareness for the workshop. So I'm going to give y'all 3 minutes to map out that time on your calendar, and then we'll reconvene. So go ahead and do that. Jess, I'll get to your question that you sent me directly after this 3 minutes. Okay, 1 more minute. Okay, if you didn't finish, you can finish after the training. Jess asked, can it be Apple Music? Yes, it can. What I will do is send out the playlists that we're going to use during the live training. During the live workshop, I'll send that out the day before. It's going to be up to you to create that exact playlist on Apple Music. If you want to use Apple Music, that's fine. You just need to be able to make that exact playlist on Apple Music, because what's going to happen is y'all will be holding space for one another. I will, in your specific breakout rooms, and then I will pop into the different breakout rooms and I will hear the music. I'll know where you're at within the journey and be able to give you pointers and tips, and I'll ask you what their intention was and all that. So I need to know what the playlist is in order for that process to work. But when you are holding space for breathwork for your clients, yes, of course, you can use Apple Music. It's going to be the same process of just sharing your computer sound and playing it from there. Okay, the next thing is navigating the online portal. Let me share my screen with y'all. So this is inside of Kartra, inside of the online portal. If you ever have any tech issues, we'll get to that later. So when you're inside the online portal, obviously here's the home screen. It's got all the information that you need. Access to the core 4 modules be granted on December 4th, which is tomorrow. This replay will be available as well. With the homework assignment that I mentioned, the creating a meditation, this folder right here that's linked, that's where you can drop that. It will also be in module 2. There will be a link there for you to drop that meditation in there so that I can listen to it and give you feedback. There is some homework that you need to submit directly to me. This is my email, katie@womanifestor.com. And you don't need to drop that. That'll be specific, like a journal entry or something like that. You can just send that directly to me. You don't need to drop that in the shared folder. If you have any technical support, you have trouble accessing Kartra, you can't find something, you don't know what the Zoom link is or what the dates are for something, email support@womanifestor.com. That is me and my team. Kristen and myself are in that email or in that inbox. So we will get back to you usually within 24 hours to help figure out whatever issue it is that you have. Let's see, so there will not be a replay for the live event. It is, each time it's unique, the groups are unique. So there's no replay. Show up present, show up fully, rested. And I ask that you show up unimpaired, no mind altering drugs or alcohol or anything like that. Show up clear and focused and ready to receive and also hold space. Okay, so this is the home page, and then it's pretty straightforward. You start off with module 1. You go to the space holding training. You watch the space holding training. It's about 21 minutes long. And then you will have associated next steps that are outlined within that training. And then you can start moving on to the next module, which is module 2, meditation. We have part 1 and part 2. You see I have links to Audacity, Zoom. Pond 5 is a place where you can get background music. If you ever want to add background music to your meditation, or if you have a podcast, it's what I use to get background music. Headliner app is what you can use to make a meditation into a video that you can then add to YouTube. And then of course, teacher.insighttimer.com if you ever want to add your meditations to Insight Timer. I've got mine on there. I get clients from there. So I added those additional links in case they're helpful for y'all. And then of course, you finish one training, you go on to the next. It's very straightforward. The next training won't unlock until you've completed the one before it. So make sure that you indicate that you have completed the training, and then you'll be able to unlock the next module. Okay. So we covered navigating the online portal, super straightforward. Asking for support, again, support@womanifestor.com. This is where you go for anything related to support. Do not email me asking me how to get into the portal or how to unlock the next training or where to send your meditation or anything like that. Just email support@womanifestor.com. If you're submitting homework, if you're submitting a specific thing that I asked for, then you can email Katie@womanifestor. Okay. Any questions?
Katie, do we email you to say that we've completed each module in order for it to then be unlocked?
No, so Kartra will, when you watch the video, Kartra will know that you watch the video and will unlock the next training. There might,
okay.
Yeah. So you don't need to email me. Kartra will be tracking all of that. And I can see all of y'all's progress too. I can see where everyone's at, and I can see whether or not you completed the training before the live event.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Great question, Stacy.
I have a question. If for some reason we cannot make the live workshop, can we change the date?
You can change the date, but I need to know like as soon as possible because I do have limited spots available for each one. Right now, I'm keeping it at 6. So if you need to move to February or move from February to January, that's fine. It just let me know as soon as possible because otherwise you might not have the flexibility. If February fills up, you might not have the flexibility to move the date.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Also, I wanted to mention for community breathwork classes, you all have unlimited access to those community breathwork classes. You do not need to donate to those. You can if you want to, but you're already like, you receive access to that. That's part of this training is I encourage you to come to those classes, even if it's just to watch, even if it's just to witness what is happening in other people's bodies when they're doing breathwork.
Thanks for mentioning that. I'll be there.
Yeah, absolutely. I really want y'all to have as much awareness as to what can happen, what it does look like. Because sometimes people just stop in the middle, get up and start dancing, right? And there's, again, no make wrong, right? They're not doing anything wrong. They're not throwing off the class or anything like that. But it's helpful to see all the different ways that a session can manifest. Mm-hmm. Okay, any other questions? I said this is going to last an hour, but looks like we might get it in 30 minutes. Awesome. So y'all are going to receive access to the coursework tomorrow, and you can start working through it. I look forward to listening to your guided meditations and giving y'all feedback on them. And trying to think if there's anything else. I'll pick a date for the book club here within the next few days. I'm working on my January, February, March Q1 schedule right now for next year. So I'll have that date picked out here in a bit, and then we'll be able to gather that. The book club is optional, but when you start reading the book, you might be like, wow, I really need to talk to someone about this. At least that's how I felt when I first started reading this book. I was like, I need to bounce these ideas off of someone else and help contextualize them and ground them, because it's kind of a new way of thinking about the world, thinking about our lives, thinking about spirit and healing too. So, alrighty, well, y'all are good to go. I am going to stop recording and